Hi, this is Lynn, and welcome to another Persuasion Byte. Bite-sized tips on persuasion that you can use right away. Our brains are wired for stories, and we know this because 100,000 years ago, when we lived in tribes, stories were the way that we passed information from one generation to the next. This evolved 27,000 years ago when we started telling stories through cave paintings, and then 3,000 years ago when written language was invented. Our brains think in stories. And if we're going to tell stories in a business sense, here are 3 ways you can tell better stories. Number 1, have a goal for your story. Too many times we just tell stories because we want people to laugh or like us or commiserate with us. Instead, know the real reason that you want to tell a story is you want to create connection with someone or help them to understand something or explain something in a usable way. So pick the right story depending upon what it is you want to do. Second, know how stories work in the brain. And guess what? Once again, our brains are wired for stories. When I tell you a good story, the technical term for this is neuro coupling. I explain something to you, and a certain part of my brain gets all activated and excited. So if I'm telling you a story about something I'm seeing, my visual cortex lights up. If I'm telling you a story about something that I was doing physically, my motor cortex lights up. Or my auditory cortex lights up when I'm telling you a story about something that includes something I've heard. And guess what? 1 to 2 seconds after my brain lights up in those areas, so does yours. We become connected at a molecular level, which means our brains are firing together. That also lowers any resistance you have to the ideas that I'm suggesting. In part because my stories are also speaking to your emotional brain, and that is where you make decisions. It bypasses that resistance in the thinking brain. Stories, best way to connect with people and overcome their resistance. Third thing you need to know when telling a better business story is to put the details in there. Make it easier for people to envision your story. So tell them about how it felt to stand in the sand on a beach. And every time the warm water came over and lapped over your toes, you would sink a little further into the warm sand and feel the cool water on your toes. And tell them about the smells, the sunburn lotion that people are wearing that smells like coconut, the kids yelling and splashing in the water, the sun coming down on the back of your head and you can feel it on your shoulders. Were you there? You were at the beach, right? Because I added the details versus I was standing in the water at the beach. No, add the details that will excite people's brains, get them interested in the story that you're telling, and to voyage along with you. That is how you'll reach that first idea of getting in sync with your goals. Tell a story to reach your goals. Practice this stuff this week. Tell better stories. And by the way, my own personal bugaboo, none of this corporate storytelling as the company's journey as a hero's journey. No, tell me a story I can get behind. Give me details. Know that it's going to connect with my brain, and you're going to reach your goals that way and become the most persuasive person in the room. Thanks for watching.